just real quick, briefly, before we get started. My name is Dundrup, and I'm the SPC here at Tupton Norbuling, and wanted to just take a moment to welcome Rinpoche back to presently still the virtual Gompa. Please join us in making prayers and dedicating for Rinpoche's ability to join us here physically, hopefully in the spring. We're still holding out hope that that will clear away any obstacles and Rinpoche will be able to join us here in person. Rinpoche has over 20 years of study in this lifetime, but it's clear to me that his ability to teach, to transmit the teachings, is something that transcends lifetimes. His ability to explain the Dharma in so clear and so impactful ways is something that is remarkable, which you will all experience in this 6-week course. If you would like, there is on the event page a document that you can use to help you integrate what you're learning. It's just something for your own personal practice. It's not an official part of the course, but you're welcome to make use of that. So Rinpoche, thank you so much for offering yet another course. And we know that it's just one of many, many, many more courses to follow. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Venerable Dandula. Venerable Dandula recently took his full ordination. Congratulations. Many, many, many dedications from all of our side. I think this is a great opportunity for all of us to create what we say, immense merit in rejoicing when someone takes the Novik vows and upholds the Novik vows, of course, definitely. So many love from us and many dedications and rejoicing from us. So I think so this course we are doing the sixth bardo, bardo. So I think this is more to do with so in generally in Buddhism there's three main paths to achieving enlightenment. The first path is doluk. Doluk is through the sutric practice. So that's the first one. Then the second path is through the tantric practice. Ngaklu, we say sangak is the secret practice. So second method would be through the sangak method, which is the tantric path. Then the third one is the dzogchen path. Dzogchen, zogpa chimbo. Zogpa means I think accomplishment. Finished, like you have accomplished something. So zogpa chimbo means like the great or the big, so the big accomplishment or the great accomplishment. So this particular text through the practice of the six bardos is, I think, one of the first basis to establish before entering the Dzogchen path. And during the Dzogchen path, this is tools, I think, for utilization within the practice itself. So the six bardos mainly consist of the practice through the practice of the Dzogpa Chimbo, or the great accomplishment. So this is where it comes from. Mainly is taught in the lineage of Guru Rinpoche. This practice did come from Guru Rinpoche. Of course, all of the inner topics within the Dzogpa Chimbo, these are mostly taught within the Ngakluk, within the Tantric path, as well as the Sutric path. So these are taught within there as well. But then the focus of the practice is, in this one, is focused through the practice that is taught by Guru Rinpoche. So I think Guru Rinpoche came maybe around, I would say, around the 8th century. So Guru Rinpoche around the 8th century, Guru Rinpoche wandering from India all around the Himalaya regions, and he one of the names that he gave for the Himalaya regions was the name Beul. So nowadays people say Palyul, Palyul, but actually it's Beyu. Beyu means the hidden valley. And the reason behind the concept of the hidden valley is, I think, comes from Guru Rinpoche, because Guru Rinpoche, after subduing many, what we say, spirits and demons throughout the Himalaya region, then he started hitting Terdus. Terdun is like a secret text sort of thing. And these secret texts, he went around hiding them, and he said these will appear to certain types of people when the time is necessary. So when the time comes, then these people will discover these texts, and then the teaching will flourish, sort of thing. And this teaching mainly comes from the Tirden lineage of Guru Rinpoche. I think particularly this Tirden of the six Bardos, uh, Bardo Thödel, this one was discovered by, I think it was Karma Lingpa, I think, yeah, Karma Lingpa in the 14th century. 14th century. So Karma Lingpa discovered this that, hidden, secret hidden scripture or text information by Guru Rinpoche in the 14th century. So this is sort of like a brief history on what we are going to go through this course. Yeah. Um, Karma Lingpa, again, amazing practitioner. A very, what do we say, close to heart disciple. Not that he was alive during Guru Rinpoche's time, but then a very close to heart practitioner and disciple of Guru Rinpoche himself. So yeah, so this is basically how this text came to be. Now, this text focuses, I think, mainly on the aspect of internalizing, understanding the concept of what we say, in between states. What we say, in between. Par means in between, like, from one thing. So we say from here until, from what is it, from now 7:45. So from 75 to 7:45 to 8:45, in between that we are going to do this course, right? So something like this. This is the in between state. So par is that. Tho is more, I think, the translation comes in many different forms. Generally, tho means place, so they call it state, place. Yeah, generally in English translation, I think they call it the intermediate state or something like that. So pardo, intermediate state. Generally, tho can also mean what situation. Yeah. So Zhonglong Tho means like a situation in regards to practice. And I think we will go through that as well. Zhonglong Tho, there's a lot of integration in how to apply the method in the intermediate state as well. So these things generally, yeah, so like that. So anyway, uh, we do a little bit of a dedication. So main goal, of course, always the ultimate goal, enlightenment. uh, I think one very beautiful teaching that I heard by His Holiness says, if you're reciting a mantra and you're dedicating, praying, dedicating, if you dedicate for this life, then once this life finish, then the power of the prayer is finished, no more. Right? Now, if you're dedicating for next life, yeah, I do Om Mani Padme Hum and I dedicate for next life. Then the next life comes, then the power of the prayer finish. But if you include dedication in the dedication, include enlightenment, then that dedication becomes very powerful. Yeah. Now, if you make someone do work, if you make someone work for you, and you say, oh, until this house is built, then this guy can work until the house is built. If you say tomorrow, then tomorrow finish, then the guy no need to work, right? So I think it's same concept. Conditioning is the same thing. So even when dedication, always including our own state of enlightenment, and then our ability, and also uh, main dedication to liberate all sentient beings from some samsaric cyclic existence, and the means to achieve the means to liberation. So that if you make that that prayer, then that prayer becomes very powerful, because now it's job, a lot of job for it, right? Until all mother sentient beings enlightened, the job of the prayer not finish. So need to continue. So the prayer stays active, sort of thing. So in the same way, I think when you are dedicating, all dedication included, but mainly focus that one. Yeah. Sangye chodang tsoge sonam la chancho bado dane gyab sonje dage zin so gebe sonam ge dola penche sangye dhuba sho sangye chodang tsoge sonam chancho bado dane gyab sonje dage zin so gebe sonam ge dola penche sangye dhuba sho sangye chodang tsoge sonam chancho bado dane gyab sonje dage zin so gebe sonam ge dola penche sangye dhuba Simje damje dewa dan de we yu dan tenpa yu je simje damje donga da donga ye yu dan tao simje damje donga me be dewa dan me tawa yu je simje damje nye re cha dan nye dan ta we tan nyam na ne ba yu then on top of that whatever we learn we dedicate that we are able to apply in our daily life to what we say, to subdue our own mind, subdue all destructive emotions throughout the world and throughout the universe and throughout the different realms. And through uh, what we subduing our destructive emotions, then the development of our perfections start to arise. And through the development of our perfections, then enlightenment becomes achievable, attainable, possible, right? So that we dedicate. So other than that, good morning or good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night to everyone. um, so so I think, yeah, so in Buddhism, like I said, we have the Duluk, Ngakluk, and what do we say? Dzogchen Beluk. So there's a three different methods. All three different methods, I think, from my view, my perspective, I think pretty much similar, not so much difference. Just that people, what do we say, the prioritizing in practice is a little bit different. But other than the prioritization, I think the practice means the method, the logic, the application. This one pretty much the same. And I think you'll also discover that it's pretty much same in the sense that the application methods might be different, but then the concept is pretty much the same. Dzogchen, now, I am not a very particular practitioner of Dzogchen, unlike my so-called predecessor. My predecessor was of course a tantric practitioner and a Dzogchen practitioner, and also was linked to the Terdön, to to the discovery of the Terdön. But anyway, that's not even important. More importantly, what the Terdön in the Dzogchen lineage teaches, I think this is very, very integrated in our own daily what do we say, consumption of information. So whether it be through the method of cognizing something, recognizing, and then establishing through understanding, or what I always say, what we say, conviction, right? Through understanding, through conviction. This method, I think, differs a lot in regards to particularity. So when a certain type of practice suits you, then definitely that practice is what do we say, is more essential at that moment. So I think most practice is based on how essential and what is the best method. Based on that, I think it works. Not to say that, oh yeah, Dzogchen is better than Ngakluk tantric path, and tantric path is better than what do we say, sutric path. This one, I don't think there is any defining of that. Though a lot of tantric practitioners and Dzogchen practitioners will mention or do mention that the importance or the fast, the what do we say, the fastest way is through the tantric means, or the fastest way is through the dzogchen. This is I think this is said by many practitioners, but then I think this is said based on encouragement rather than it being actually informative. I think more of an encouragement method. So now this one I'm sharing this view with you because once I was in a teaching public talk, His Holiness public talk, and someone did ask a question in regards to, oh, which is the fastest way to achieve enlightenment in Buddhism? Then His Holiness answer was, yeah, we are always looking for the fastest, the cheapest, the best, the most reliable, that this, you know. In Buddhism, it's a dharma. Dharma is means and method. And means and method, is defined based on capacity, our own mental capacity and our own physical capacity, right? If we say, okay, the best way to achieve a strong body is to carry, I don't know, 35-40 kilos up the hill, then even though that might be true for someone, maybe for other people it may not be true, right? So this is, I think, the reason why there is always defined based on practice, right? So anyway, coming to that, the teaching of the six bardos, I think mainly, I think I told you the history. So mainly comes from the great practitioner Karmalingpa, and Karmalingpa's lineage of that practice was found through the Terde, and that one was provided by Guru Rinpoche. Guru Rinpoche, what do we say? What do we say? The through the Vajrayana practice, mostly understanding through the Vajrayana practice, the entire cycle of existence from what do we say? From from the all the par. Par is what we say intermediate. So all the intermediate places. So understanding what do we say, the entire concept of the cyclic existence through the intermediate state. Yeah, from what do we say? From our own existence. Yeah, the moment we take our first breath into us, then till the death, and then rebirth, and then so on. So it's an ongoing sort of a sequence of transitional moments, and that is what bardo is. And then by recognizing these transitional moments, what we can do is we can transform every experience of these transitional moments experience into the path of awakening. And I think this is the main goal of the practice of the bardos, especially the six bardos. So um, what do we say? Par, like I said, par means intermediate, transitional, sort of like in between sort of thing. So par is that, then do is situation or place, yeah, state sort of thing. So bardo is mainly focus on our ability to, I mean, the practice is mainly focused on building our ability to transform these moments into our own, by understanding these moments, transform these moments into our own, what do we say, sort of like a tool to practice, right? So this will be the main goal, I think. So in intermediate state, the what we say, the consciousness sort of like a rest between the different phases, right? We call it, I think, phases or prases or something like that, phases maybe. So in the intermediate state, our consciousness always resting in between. So the same thing like awake and sleep. Yeah, when we are awake, we are able to do these things, but then that ability only comes through the state of resting, which is sleep. Yeah, if we don't get enough sleep, then we have a little bit of a issue, what do you call the insomnia or something like they call nowadays, people who cannot sleep. So unlike being in the state of somnia, now we are utilizing the state of awakeness and state of what do we say, non-awakeness, right? Conscious state and sort of like unconscious state. This consciousness and unconsciousness, I think, by understanding our own mind, we understand that our mind utilizes different states in order to achieve different things. right? Uh, uh, like in the tantric perspective, utilization of these states becomes extremely important. Yeah, what we say vajrayana practice. In the vajrayana practice or the tantrayana practice, this utilization of these states becomes extremely important, because the utilization of these states is, at different states the level of our mind is so different. And in an awakening state, we can actually understand that. You look at your own mind, at an awakened state, yeah, at a state where we are full of awareness and full of, our whole senses, the five senses are all roaming around. Then because the awareness level is at its peak, then utilization of that awareness level is more compatible in some ways. Whereas if you're in this state of sleeping, though awareness is there, this is why we move. When there's sound, then, sometimes we wake up from our sleep. And then when there's discomfort, then even without knowing, our body starts to move around, shift, and so on and so forth. So that awareness is there, but the awareness level not at its peak. Now, when we talk about primary mind and secondary mind, then these states utilize these different states of mind again in order to, achieve certain different things, like achieve our own understanding of things as well. So, one thing I tend to say a lot is, uh, uh, as we get older, I think we become better practitioners, because now I can make my own different states, and I can say, oh, the state of practice, is better when the awareness of death comes closer. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, as death comes closer, then our awareness of death becomes also stronger. When our awareness of death becomes stronger, then we, somehow look for some means or some method to, not either be able to face death, or how do we say, be able to utilize, the state of being alive more meaningfully, more more powerfully, in that sense. So even in recognizing the state of your mind in the level of awareness, there's a huge difference. So this is the main practice, is utilizing these different states. um So, I think, according to what we say, Dzogchen practice, every moment of experience is a bardo. We say, in the Dzogchen practice, mentioned that every moment of experience is known as the bardo state. So, generally, when we say bardo, we are always, I think it's the fifth or the sixth bardo, which sort of like defines between life, between the, what is it, the after death, and being reborn as in a new vessel, right? So in a new body. So normally pardo we define as that. But then in general states, through the practice of Dzogchen, every state is the pardo state. Even now, at the moment where we are alive right now, awareness is here. Even between times is a state of pardo. So realizing that the state of pardo, I think, very closely in the first teaching, um, of the, what do we say, of suffering. Yeah. So in the teaching, in the first teaching of the Buddha, when he talks about the Four Noble Truths, and he talks about, what do we say, suffering, the main concept behind the first truth, I think, is the concept of impermanence. Yeah. We are constantly utilizing the concept of uh, permanence. Yeah, we want to make everything permanent. Yeah, I want to make my looks permanent. I want to make my house permanent. I want to make my, money permanent. Yeah, everything we're looking towards making permanent. So we have that very strong integration, or wanting to integrate the concept of permanence into our life, because, ultimate existence is based on that everlasting sort of concept, right? So the first teaching is on reality. Yeah, and this is the same thing here. So the first teaching is on reality, and reality is impermanence. Yeah, suffering is based on impermanence. Change is based on impermanence. Continuity is based on impermanence. Life and death, the exchange between life and death itself is based on the concept of impermanence. So, bardo is the concept of bardo is teaching main the outline back line of the concept that we need to bring into integration is the concept of impermanence by understanding, by studying, by understanding the concept of bardo. So I think mainly in order to establish the concept of impermanence, same as the first noble truth, uh, this teaching on bardo mainly main concept is to integrate the concept of impermanence. Now, based on the impermanence, then we understand change. Now, based on change, we understand continuity. So, because of the change in the continuity, now we integrate means and methods in different situations. Yeah. So in this situation, we apply this means and this method. In that situation, we apply that method and that means. So similar to that, right? So yeah. So every like I said, every experience, every moment is the state of bardo through the teachings of the Dzogchen. Yeah. So yeah. So in that now, I think. Generally speaking, there is the concept of the what we said six different levels of practice when it comes to what do we say when it comes to achieving the state of understanding the state of change, right? So understanding the state of change generally states to understanding continuity. Without the concept of continuity, then the concept of application does not come, because application comes based on means and methods and ability and so on and so forth. So based on the change, then the means also differ, right? So um, yeah, something like that. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay.
Rinpoche, can you please repeat that? I'm writing as fast as I can, but I didn't get it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Repeat what?
Just what you just said.
Ah.
Do you remember?
I'm I'm blabbering out. Okay, I think what I was mainly trying to say is that according to the Nyingma Dzogchen practice, so I think structure-wise, every teaching, whether it be Sutric teaching, whether it be Tantric teaching, whether it be Dzogchen teaching, every teaching establishment, the first establishment is a reality. Yeah. Now, reality, there's two realities. Thandam Dempa and Kunjung Dempa. Yeah. Ultimate reality and conventional reality. Now, ultimate reality they talk about later on. And even in this practice of the six bardos, we talk about the ultimate reality later on. Yeah. But to start with, we talk about conventional reality. So the 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 basis of understanding conventional reality is understanding impermanence. Yeah. So even in the like I mentioned, even in the first teaching, the teaching was a truth of the Four Noble Truths, and within the Four Noble Truths, the first teaching, the teaching of what we say, suffering, truth of suffering. Even in that, the concept is basically implementing or what we say, building the base of understanding impermanence. Yeah, we with our nature of the grasping attitude, yeah, we say the self-grasping attitude, with the nature of the mind focusing solely on the self-grasping attitude, we always want to make things permanent. Constant permanent application of the view of permanent is constantly applied there. This is why our awareness when it comes to impermanence is not there. This is why we tend to make plans for next year, 5 years later, 10 years later. My retirement. This whole concept is based on the concept of permanence. We define change, but we define change based on what do we say? Based on sort of like the concept of always moving like this upwards. Yeah, even when we are talking about dharma, and when someone mentions, oh, everlasting happiness, that's like, oh yeah, that's something I want to achieve. Yeah, this is the first thing that comes up in our mind. And the reason behind this is because the infiltration of the view of permanence. Yeah, we don't embrace. Yeah, sometimes we say, oh yeah, you need to live moment to moment, and that in some reality that makes sense, but in some reality it seems like it's very distinct from the grasping attitude. It feels like it's pushing you far away. Yeah, we look at ourselves and we say, oh yeah, I'll take it. Someone tells you, oh, take it day by day or time, hour by hour. Then you are like, that's not very kind. Yeah, neither is it very implementing, ability to implement. Neither does it make so much sense, because when it comes to the soul, our own sense of existence, or the sense of the grasping attitude, then the whole thing sort of like falls down. So I think based on that concept, the implementation of the structure in understanding reality through the concept of bardo, or through the concept of state, is change. Yeah, bardo, intermediate state, represents change. It doesn't represent anything else. It represents change. One of the realities, one of the realities within the concept of conventional is change. We are born, yeah, then maybe we are what, 1 feet tall, then 2 feet tall, then 5 feet tall. I'm I think 5'4" or something like that, very short. Then slowly change. Yeah, the concept changes, and through that concept changing, then grown up, we say. Yeah, maturity. Yeah, then from that maturity and growing state, then comes the state of understanding our own mind. Yeah, a lot of people discover their mind later on. Oh, I want freedom, I want happiness, I want that. When we are younger, we are more in tune to, what do we say, embrace, what is a thrill, yeah, and adventure, and what do we say, not so afraid of death and that and this, because it seems very far away. But it seems, right? Who knows? Some people die the moment they are born. So now, when you think about reality itself, then there's a lot of, what we say, contradiction with our own theory of life. And this is why the conventional understanding, that conventional truth is explained, because when there is the contradiction in understanding something so real that we feel, that in the Tibetan word, they say, feel from the in depth of the bone, sort of thing. So when you see something in front of you, when you feel something in front of you, when you understand something in front of you, like it's right there, then how is that an illusion, we say? Yeah, how is that an illusion? This is our mind fighting with reality itself. When I can plan this and plan that and go here and go this and do that and do this, then how is all of that an illusion? It's mentioned in the text when you talk about the ultimate state of realization. We talk about the view of emptiness. We talk about illusions, delusions, and illusions, and you know uh, what we say, magicians' ability to convert our view into things, seeing things. We talk about these things, and then sometimes our own misinterpretation of understanding. Yeah, Thakdunawa is, if the conditions are right, a little bit not too dark where you cannot see the rope, but not too light as you can recognize the rope being the rope. Then we see the rope and we instantly our mind makes up the concept of it being a snake. Then fear arises. Where is that fear arising from? Even though it's a rope, that fear is arising from an illusion that or integration of a concept that we understand. Now the conditions have to be right, and this is why samsara is so amazing. The conditions are so right. Yeah, conditions are so right in so many different ways. It's so right to bring us, change our mind, to, just build our what we say destructive and self-grasping attitude to its utmost. Yet it's also conditioning is so right for our mind to realize the true nature of things and achieve enlightenment. Yeah, so we will talk about this within this first topic. What do we say? Gyawanyongwe Bardo. We say Gyawanyongwe Bardo is the bardo of life. When you look at bardo of life, this is, I think, why precious human rebirth is mentioned. Even if you go through the teachings, what we say, precious human rebirth, the Lamrim teachings, precious human rebirth is one of the first things they teach. This is the bardo of life. Precious human rebirth itself is the bardo of life. Yeah. So to embrace what is in front of us and to utilize it because the conditionings are right. This is utilizing the first bardo, I think. Yeah, definitely utilization of later on bardos such as bardo of death, and then the bardo state itself. These are a little bit different from utilizing the state bardo state of life. It's a little bit different. But the first bardo state of life, I think, has everything to do with defining the difference between conventional and ultimate. Ultimate, of course, will go deeper later on, but for now, conventional understanding. Understanding what is illusion, understanding what is a delusion, understanding our own mind, our own state of mind based on ability and capability, and utilizing these means in order to convert the situation and make what is in front of us a tool to empower ourselves. People who realize or who know what we say the value of something normally, okay, utilize the thing better. This is one thing about our mind. You know the value of money, you utilize money more meaningfully, more reasonably. You know the value of this life, you use this life more meaningfully, more reasonably. Now we go to the opposite side. You don't know the value of money, then you throw money around. Oh, yeah. You don't know the utilization of life. I mean the value of life. Then you throw your life around. So this ability is in our hands, right? We are capable of understanding the value. And this is why understanding the nature of reality is important so that we truly understand the value. The more valuable, the more you can make out of it. People who value money, they make time is money. There's this concept, I think I hear sometimes, time is money is time, or time is money, or something like that. Yeah, when you so instruct with money, then oh yeah, time is money. 5 minutes extra, oh, you extra charge. Yeah, so this is the construct. It's on value. So I think this is the part of awakening the state was a bardo, state of the was a bardo of life. Is truly understanding the value of life. Make sense? Still too fast? Yes. Okay. So I think the main goal in understanding bardo or the bardo of life is that. Just giving you the gist of it. Now within that, there's many aspects of understanding. Of course, the what we say, for example, the length of the bardo, the entire period from birth, yeah, the moment you are born until the time you face death. This is the whole period. Yeah, this is where the bardo. So then, of course, within that period of the from the birth till the death, then this is where we have a human body. Yeah, whether you be if you are a human, then you have a human body. If you are a animal, then you have an animal body. If you are what we say a god, then you have a godly body. So this is different bodies. Yeah. So now these are, I think, conditionings. Yeah, we talked about conditionings earlier. So this is the conditionings of the states. So different states have different conditioning. Now we are human beings, so we have the human body. Then on top of that, through the human body, I think main important aspect of understanding the human body is not just the body, but it's the mind. Yeah, the coexistence of the mind and the body is very amazing. Yeah, the coexistence is like, based on the cup. Then the tea also sometimes tastes different. Yeah? In India, if you go to India, then the Indians, they like the matka tea. They have this matka is what we call like clay cup. So the same guy making the tea, same tea, but whether it's put in a glass cup or a steel cup or the clay cup, different taste. Maybe the clay cup has a little bit of a clay taste. A lot of people like that clay taste, but I don't know. Based on that, right? So then again, the same tea, same making method, but then whether it's made on a gas or made in a wood fire, again, a little bit of a difference is there. So this is conditioning. All the conditionings are different, and therefore these conditionings produce different results. Whether it is our own, what do we say, mental, what do we say, uh, um, illusion that creates this or not, that is completely different. This is why the two truths are important, because you need to define between reality and illusional, right? What is reality and what is illusion? So anyway, we have a human body. So the human body now consists of many conditionings that come together. And within those conditionings, now if you are a Dharma practitioner, then again, the freedom of practicing Dharma is such an amazing conditioning. Yeah, a lot of places, they don't have the freedom, neither they don't have the space, neither do they don't have the ability. Something like that is always there. So when the conditionings are not right, then the state of a practice also changes. So even if you want to, you can't in some situations. In some situations, even if you can, then you don't have the right, what do we say, right things to do so. Support, as we say. We always need support. Sometimes we think, oh yeah, I'm capable, I'm able, I can do everything on myself. And this again, another teaching that comes within the state of Bardo is the teaching of dependent origination. Because impermanence, therefore continuity, therefore change. And because of continuity and change, therefore dependence is there. Change doesn't happen by itself. Change is always dependent on something. Yeah. Hot and cold is dependent on the sun, whether the sun is near or far. So things like that. These are the conditionings that make the difference, right? So even in the state of a human being, then again different conditionings matter. So these conditionings, like I said, only happen based on the concept of dependent origination. So everything is dependent on each other. Yeah, we think, oh, I'm independent of everything. Yeah, I'm a grown up, I'm that, I'm this, I can do that, I have the ability to do this, my function is that, my function is this. But at the end of the day, dependence. We forget to include dependence in that. Your own origination, your own existence is based on dependence. Without your mother and father, your existence would not be here. That's also dependence. Yeah, the concept of death itself is again dependence. Without the body, death doesn't happen. Through the body, then death happens. So everything existence, yeah, not everything existence, but this is a little bit of a philosophical debate. But coming back to concept, I think everything that is impermanent, yeah, then depends. The concept of dependent origination is there. So again, the conditioning is based on dependence. Yeah, I mean, based on dependent origination, and therefore the conditionings, if you are a practitioner, then the conditionings of practitioners are also based on dependent origination. And this, I think, for some people, then the concept of karma, we say, oh yeah, then dependent. If I can depend on something, then okay, it works. If I cannot depend on it, then it cannot work. So then it seems like a little bit of a, what we say, so lay off sort of thing. But in reality, the concept of dependence and origination, these two things bring together total freedom. The concept of total freedom. Because dependence and because change and because the understanding on a certain thing, like if I want hot water, then I need to depend on fire, and therefore I can lit a fire. Yeah, without the concept of me depending on a fire, then the concept of lighting a fire does not come as well. So therefore freedom comes through that as well. This is what I always think. You want to realize freedom, your own ability and your own freedom, true freedom, internal freedom, then you need to understand impermanence and dependent origination. Because there's change in hot and cold, therefore I have the freedom to choose what I want to wear. Yeah, because dependence on my friend's birthday and my, what do we say, my friend's wedding and this and then I have the freedom of choosing what I want to wear, whether I want to wear glamorous or whether I want to wear good or whether I want to wear something suitable or something beautiful, colorful. All this freedom that we have right now is coming through the concept of dependent origination itself. So again, the whole concept behind what we say, practicing dharma, your ability to practice dharma, again, comes from true freedom, I think. And this true freedom comes from realizing impermanence and dependent origination. So that again, back to the same idea. And the greatest of potential of all of this within the human bardo, yeah, within the bardo of what do you say, of life, is our, what we say, potential of engaging, implementing, achieving the state of enlightenment. Yeah, engaging in the practice, implementing the means, and attaining enlightenment. So this, I think, one of the greatest freedoms of all, if you are a practitioner. If you are not a practitioner, then I think it comes down to realization and awareness, developing realization and developing awareness. Not in the state of enlightenment, but developing realization. I think even, I work with what we say, some people who have what we call crisis. Yeah. So even when in crisis, yeah, whether it be financial crisis, whether it be mental crisis, whether it be emotional crisis, whatever crisis it is, your ability to deal with those crises comes from the same concept, I think. Yeah, embracing the concept of dependent origination, embracing the concept of impermanence. Because I think the whole concept of cause and effect again comes through this as well. If you know that it's conditioned, yeah, the only reason why we are able to fly in the air using a plane, the only reason why we can drive miles and miles and miles in a car is because of the concept of cause and conditioning. We create those conditioning. We created a car. We created a plane. We created a rocket. Why? Because we wanted to go there. We wanted to go to the moon. And this is utilizing true freedom. Not in the concept of dharma, but in the concept of, like I said, in the human realm. And these all work from cause and conditioning. Understanding cause and conditioning gives us the ability to work with causes that create certain types of conditioning, and based because of certain people utilizing the conditioning, the causes, in order to be able to fly up to the moon in in a week or so. This conditioning, by experimenting on this conditioning, that's how the physically we're able to make that happen. No? I don't know, that makes sense, right? So something like that. So again, in the same structural means, we are working mentally, we are working on that thing. So we are good at utilizing these cause and conditionings and abilities on that state. But when it comes to enlightenment, when it comes to our own mental development, when it comes to our own internal achievement, when it comes to what is it, liberation, then we have a little bit of a problem, because the cause and conditioning have to do a lot with what we call sukme. Sukme is formless things. And it's like hope in some things, no? Oh, what's the point in hoping, whereas I can actually do something right here? So so I think this is why there is a little bit of a gap between that. But in reality, even when it comes to hope, I think it works in the same manner. My teacher used to say, hope is something that is quite important in our life. And the story he told me, Gandhi Rinpoche, he passed away recently, I think now nearly a month and a half ago he passed away. But anyway, one of the examples he gave is, there's a mother and two kids, and they have nothing to eat. But the mother has one sack of rice. So the mother, working very hard to keep everyone alive. So then, after the food nearly finished, then the mother say, okay, I have a sack of rice, but if we eat this sack of rice today, then, then tomorrow we have nothing to hope for. So she tied the sack of rice on top of the roof, like, what do we say, tie like this, hanging. Then when the child comes and says, Mom, I'm hungry, then the mother says, you see up there, you see the sack of rice? We have a sack of rice. Yeah? Don't worry, we have a sack of rice. But we don't eat it right now. We eat it later. So that itself, the story says that it kept the whole family alive for a very long time, until they were able to create more conditions where they can have more or whatever. So anyway, something like that. So this is, sometimes it feels like a very what do we say, it feels like it's from the formless realm. You can't see hope, you can't feel hope, you can't eat hope, you can't sense hope. So then, what is the point? So I think sometimes it seems a little bit like that. But anyway, coming back to the whole concept, yeah, the greatest potential, like I said again, coming back to the concept, if you are a practitioner, then definitely engaging, yeah, practicing, and or what do we say, achieving the state of enlightenment. Then I think this these things, then I mean, if you're not a practitioner, then like I said, developing the true concept of freedom through understanding what is dependent origination and impermanence, this becomes important. And this becomes important not just for, you know, for anything, but even to keep the level of sanity that we have. Yeah, the world sometimes feel like the world is going a little bit insane here and there. So we need to keep sanity. Sanity is important. Yeah, so even just at the lowest level, even just to keep sanity, I think this concept is extremely useful, and not just useful, but implement when it comes to implementing, it's so logical and so easy to implement. Yeah, you just need the right motivation and it becomes easy to implement. So there's more the what we say, this is the most important parts. And I think within all of the states of the different bardo, this bardo becomes the most important because of that. Yeah, this bardo state of from birth to death. Yeah, this state, because the conditionings are so right. And also because how we can condition our mind and train our mind and our now this is a little bit of a confusion sometimes, I think, because we say, oh yeah, the mind is the mind, you know, no matter in what state, yeah, whether it be the animal state, human state, the mind is mind, it should be functioning the same way. But then it seems like it functions on different levels. Yeah, human minds function on a totally different level, whereas a God mind, what do we say, a God's mind functions on a totally different level, whereas an animal's mind functions on a totally different level. Then how is that happening? And this one, I always think the conditioning is not just internal conditioning, but also external conditioning, right? So if for example we say the I consciousness exists everywhere. I mean, not everywhere in everywhere, but in every human, the I consciousness exists. But it's not just the I consciousness that makes form come to, you know, come alive, existence. Yeah, the true visual impact of form and structure comes into impact when two things come together. First, definitely the consciousness, which always exists, is there, the I consciousness. Then the second one is the I organ. Without the organ, the functioning does not happen. So I think I've never seen it, or I've never come across the concept of the mind or the brain being the what do we say, uh, um, uh, what do we say, the organ, the brain being the what do we say, the mind organ. I've never come across that. Maybe it's mentioned, maybe it's not, I don't know. But for me, it seems a little bit, if I utilize this concept, it seems a little bit matchable, because you know, the ear organ and the ear consciousness, the eye organ, the eye consciousness, the meeting of these two impacts in how we are able to develop, or how we are able to see, how we were able to feel, how we are able to hear, you know. And so same thing, functioning of the mind, yeah, needs a brain organ. So you can be alive, but then when the brain is dead, then the mind itself seems like it's not functioning. Maybe it's functioning in the dream state, because you know, not what we say, not forwardly, but then through the what we say subconscious level, it does tend to work. But then when it's on the conscious level, then you know, if you're brain dead, then you're unconscious. You cannot be conscious, right? So again, I think there is quite a link between those two. It seems like that. So the differences in the structure of the brain matters, because it's the organ that the mind uses in order to function. So because of the conditioning of the different brains, you know, certain brains are different from certain brains, whether it be the size, whether it be that, whether it be this. So based on that also, I think the functioning level of the brain or the mind, yeah, functioning level of the mind changes. So as human beings, our brain, or the what I would like to call the organ of the mind, yeah, the mind organ, is conditioned in the right way, where we are able to establish all of these means and methods, and utilize the concept of what we say, of building up. right? So something like that. I think we will go deeper into that in the different states of the bardo, especially in the dreaming state, and then of course after the what is it, after death, then the state of the bardo itself. Then again, then in realizing the view of emptiness through the channels, through the different channels of our bodies. Some like to call it the chakras of our body, some like to call it the channels, but within that also the brain functions in a different way, the mind functions in a different way. The awareness, the level of the different minds when it comes to awareness, when it comes to intention, when it comes to view, when it comes to perspective, when it comes to application of these means, these also function in a different way. So we'll go deeper into this based on the different states that we'll go into. Then I think based on that, I think mainly these are the more important aspects of the state of the bardo, the first state of the first bardo. And then I think through that, then application of the means, different means, of course, comes through that as well. So then I think second, briefly, if I go briefly through the other bardo, second bardo is the bardo of dreaming. So the state of not truly unconscious. There's a little bit level of consciousness there. So the conscious part is always there. Not truly unconscious, but then again, the level of awareness in the state of conscious is very, very mild. And they say if you practice in the state of dreaming, then the practice becomes so powerful because you are able to utilize the limited awareness that there is. Yeah. So if you are able to use limited resources to achieve something, then that's quite amazing, right? Yeah, that's what we say. Yeah, when there's limited resources, like I give you, I don't know, I give you like a toilet paper and a pen, and I say, okay, build something like this, which normally is impossible. And if you are able to do that, then that's quite amazing. That's quite an amazing achievement. I think in the late 80s or something like that, in Japan, they used to have this show where they make people utilize limited resources to survive. Yeah, and that show became so amazing. I mean, famous sort of thing. So something like that. I think the dreaming state is something like that. There's limited resources, but if you are able to, what do we say, uh, mm, mm, in tune into these limited resources and utilize these limited resources to its fullest potential, then this potential becomes quite amazing. So the second bardo that we will talk about is, I think, the what we say, the bardo of state of dreaming or bardo of dreaming. I don't know what you call the English terminology is a little bit here and there. So anyway, Nigi Pardo, yeah, Ni is dreaming, and then Nigi Pardo, the state of dreaming. Then state of dreaming, I think, practice mainly through the what is it, dream yoga we call it. I think in English we call it dream yoga. Nang beba we say, yeah. So also through that practice mainly we will be in the concept of lucid dreaming, I think, and the potential of this building this ability to utilize the lucid dreaming state is very, very, very useful in the tantric practice. So if you go into later on, once you have realized once you have realized renunciation, once you have realized the application of the wisdom and method, yeah, compassion, great compassion, or what His Holiness calls supreme emotion, yeah, then a realization of the view of emptiness. Once you have that, then you can go into the tantric path, and within the tantric path, then it's all about in what do we say, encouraging these states of very, very limited awareness to build total what do we say, total freedom. And I think this is more utilized in that part of tantric practice. So basically, I think in the dream state, they talk about training to recognize the dreamlike nature of appearances, and then using the dreamlike appearances in basically, I think at the end of the day, it's all about conquering the grasping attitude at its peak or at its most subtle state. So when it comes to conquering the grasping attitude, we say, oh yeah, I'm a practitioner, I'm good, I'm kind, I'm nice, I practice bodhicitta, I do that, I do this. uh, Generally, yeah, maybe. But then when you are tuning into what we say dreamlike state natures of the mind, then there's no place for that. There's no place for others, no place. Even I think even in our aware state, sometimes oh, I'm kind, I'm nice, I'm that. Then you are in traffic, you're driving, all very happy, and yeah, oh, beautiful here, beautiful. Then suddenly someone bangs into you, yeah, from behind. Then everything's gone, disappeared. That is harsh words, bad words. That yeah, then complaint to the police. I want then insurance, then money, then this. Everything comes flying back. So whether we are truly aware or not, this is a whole different, I think, whole different issue. But then again, like I said, if you are a practitioner, you say, "Oh yeah, I'm loving. I practice loving compassion. I'm kind. Yeah, I'm good." Then that again, one state of awareness, one state of bardo is that. Then the other state of bardo is all over the place. So again, I think true realization of how the mind functions and dysfunctions in certain states is also different. So again, training to recognize the dreamlike nature of experiences through the practice or through the understanding what is it, Niki Bardo, dreamlike state or dreaming Bardo. That one becomes the second Bardo. Then I think third one is Gomba. Yeah, Gomba. So Gomba is third one is sunyata, or what do we say? Meditative state. Yeah, meditative state of Bardo. Meditative state of Bardo is single pointed Bardoness, I think. Yeah, concentrated on single pointed awareness is mainly to build a stronger level of awareness when it comes to applications of the different states of the mind. So without awareness, then application becomes impossible. Yeah. Through awareness, that's where application is developed. So Gombe Parto mainly to develop what we say state of awareness, and this state of meditative absorption. This one I think includes certain practices that we normally we talk about. The first one is calm abiding. This what do we say? Is lo jangba we say, which means mind training through the method of the six causes and the condition. Yeah, seventh condition. So shine calm abiding. Yeah, then Lakdong is what you call I think insight, special insight or something like that. In Sanskrit we call vipassana. And nowadays vipassana practice in the West, I think quite popular. Everyone, oh yeah, I'm going for vipassana. But that vipassana is totally different from the practice, the bardo state of vipassana. Not just the practice of bardo state vipassana is also different from the Shine and Lautna that is described in the what we say in the sutric text and the tantric text. In the Dharma, in the Buddha Dharma, practice of vipassana always vipassana is always followed after the practice of shamatha, yeah, calm abiding. So without the state of full achievement in shamatha, vipassana, not talking, not eating, not staying in the dark and not moving. That one is, I think, less to do with the vipassana practice and more to do with what we say uh, um, what do you call self-control sort of practice sort of thing. So I think a little bit different from the vipassana that the West normally do. So anyway, so through that, and then through that, then the realization of Rigpa, yeah, realization of Sempa. Sempa and Rigpa is the mind, the true nature of the mind. So in the Dzogchen practice, Rigpa, yeah, Sempa, the nature of the mind is realized through the practice of Shine and Lao, through the practice of Shamatha and Vipassana. And Now, once you understand the true, clear nature of the mind, we always say Seshi Rigpa. Silva means clear, and Rigpa means the ability to, ability to observe, ability to cognize, yeah, ability to recognize, sort of thing, Rigpa, right? So that one developed through the practice of Shine and Lakdong. So mainly, then the third practice after the Shine and Lakdong comes the Dzogchen Rigpa, yeah, recognizing the Dzogchen Rigpa, yeah, the clear nature of the mind itself. And through this, then this Bardo teaches us the clear light nature of the mind, and then so sort of like this clear light nature of the mind is like very undecisive. Sometimes it's what do we say, sometimes it appears, sometimes it disappears, sometimes it appears, sometimes it disappears. So normally there are certain states of awareness that they describe in regards to where this clear light, what do we say, clear nature of the mind appears. One of the most, I think, most what do we say, factual appearances of this clear light nature of the mind is during death, actually, not during birth, yeah, not during intimacy, not during what do we say, the state of what unconsciousness, but at the state of death, right before death, then this nature of the clear mind actually comes out. This is why I think some people, they say, when death, time of death, I'm not sure, I've never experienced otherwise I wouldn't be here. but people do explain, yeah, even in one of the texts, they explain that in the nature, in the dissolution of the different states of the being before death, then in one of the dissolution is the clear state of the mind, and this is why, yeah, uh, strong states of regret come uh, during the time of death. Strong states of happiness also come during the death. Strong states of all kinds of different emotions comes during death. Very, very clearly comes right before death, because of this state of the mind, appearing. So anyway, this is I think the third one, yeah, meditative, I think, meditation bardo, yeah, gombe bardo. Then after that, Naljur zombie Chiwe Bardo. Yeah, Chiwe. Then comes Chiwe Bardo. Chiwe Bardo is the Bardo of death. Yeah, Bardo of death, or death dying Bardo. I don't know how to utilize the terminology, but something like that. Yeah, Chiwa is death, or the dying, process of dying, actually. Chiwa is the process of dying. So the state of process of dying. Yeah, so Chiwe Bardo. This one, I think, it begins in the signs of death appearing, and lasts until our final breath. Yeah. So during the death, the dissolution of aggregates, the dissolution of the elements, the dissolution of all of these dissolutions start to happen during death. Are we talking too much about death? don't don't get what is it? Uh, traumatized. This is more to do with understanding, understanding nature. Then through understanding the nature, it's about achieving freedom. It's not about, oh, that, oh, focus. You know, uh, what is a mind damage, brain damage? Not like that. Yeah, more in order to understand, and then understanding the utilization, and through the understanding the utilization, achieving true freedom. Yeah, so this is, our goal is different. And normally when you're talking about death, then it's a sad topic. It's, what do we say, gloomy. Then, so this is not that. This is through that, then understanding that liberation comes. Yeah, understanding that, then your potential to creating the conditioning, the right conditionings comes. So something more light, something more. If you can see it in that way, then I think much better in practice as well. I always say, when you're practicing, joy should be a part of the practice. Whether it be practicing compassion, whether it be practicing renunciation, whether it be practicing the view of emptiness, whether it be practicing in order to achieve enlightenment, or whether it be practicing just to be more happy and more, achieve more freedom. Whatever the practice may be, if it's integrated through joy, then the results are so much better. And also, if it's integrated with joy, then your potential to achieving it also goes up. Yeah, and then integrated with joy, you do things with joy is completely different. With, I think if you have changed many jobs in your life, then you might know you might have a little bit of a experience there as well. Yeah, if you have a job that you enjoy and there's joy in it, then the day gets by quite well. Whereas if you're doing a job that you don't enjoy, there's no joy in it, then you're always looking at your watch, what time is it, when is it going to finish. So even in our daily practice, in our daily, what we say, chores, we start to see the differences between those two. So again, that is there. The dissolution of elements, and then the inner appearance, then the growing of the clear light death, the state of the clear light death, these things grow. So recognizing the clear light and utilizing the state of clear light to instantly achieve liberation, this is, I think, the true utilization of the, what we say, the bardo of death. And this one, I think, not just in the state of the human realm, but this can be done in any state, as well as it's approaching the bardo state. And within the bardo state, there's many levels there. We will go through that, of course. But then within the bardo state, congregationally, when the changing of the bardo state, that's where the integration comes. So you achieve full awareness in our state of mind, and utilization of the most subtle awareness. Then that awareness, utilization of that awareness to its full potential, then it's more like, I think it's more like an explosion, I think, right? So if you have an explosion, then it's very momentary. Explosion is like boom, right? So it's very momentary, but then so much, what do we say, so much destruction or so much effect. So something like that, I think. The clear light state itself is, like a small thing, but then it's like an explosion. Like you can achieve a lot in that. So utilization of the clear light state, that one is definitely a method to achieve liberation. And well, this, I think maybe this is one of the reasons why it's called the fastest method as well, because like I said, it's like it's like a boom sort of thing, like an explosion, it just happens like that. So anyway, that is that. Then Chunyi Bardo, the Bardo of Chunyi. Chu is Dharma, and Ni is like the only sort of thing. So in Sanskrit we call Dharmata. Yeah, so that one, the state of that, and then that is after that state where peaceful and what we say, wrathful, these deities tend to appear, I think. And then also the experience of the mind in vivid luminous reality, that also are strong. So it's quite close to the same concept of what to say, of the death bardo. And then this bardo described described in bardo total. Yeah, bardo total. I don't know what is it. Total is a liberation, like higher liberation through the bardo. So it's explained in that. Then in that, I think mainly the focus is recognizing of appearances, as our own mind can lead to full potential liberation. So it's mainly to do with that, recognizing that. So then I think after that we have the Kyawa Bardo, Kechi Bardo, right? Kechik Bardo is the Bardo of becoming. Yeah, I think Bardo of birth. Yeah, so that one would be the sixth Bardo. So that one, I think, again, to do with lot to do with conditioning and all of that. So anyway, so these are sort of like uh, a little bit of a description on the six bardos. Of course, we'll go more detailed into them as we proceed. We have how many weeks? I think 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks. Yeah, so we have 6 weeks to to go through them. So we can go one bardo at a time, no problem. Plenty of time. What time is it? 9. No, 9. What time we stopping?
We have about 10 more minutes or so.
Okay. So, everyone okay with that? Yeah. So, if there's any question, we do 10-minute question. Then next week we start with, I'll go a little bit more detailed in Kya Parto, and then I think next week, we'll start the whole thing. Today I just want to give you an outline of the whole thing, conceptual view, how it is, how it's structured, what is the means, what is the method, what is the practice, what is the goal, and then I think also a little bit of a history in regards to the practice. Yeah.
Roxy, go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Rinpoche. Thank you so much for this
Hello, hello.
teaching. Nice to meet you. I
Nice
wanted
to
to
meet you.
I wanted to ask about, you were talking about, for a practitioner, certain like for a practitioner, there's so much potential for achievement, but if one's not a practitioner, it's more of a potential for awareness and realization of like kind of just to be sane. Can you just explain kind of what you mean, like what is a practitioner versus not?
I think goal is the uh, one thing that defines, right, what we are. Yeah, if you want to become a doctor, then you have a goal of a doctor, so you go onto the path of becoming a doctor. You do MBBS, BS, BO, and all of those different things. So similarly, practitioner, someone. So practice, first I think let's define practice. The concept of practice explained in many different ways. But one of the things that truly stick with my understanding is habituality. Yeah, practice is basically building habituality. That's practice, whether it be physical habituality, whether it be mental habituality, it doesn't matter. I think in everyone is a practice in some ways. Yeah, everyone is building some kind of habituality. Now in the dharma context of practice is building habituality in certain things based on certain goals, right? So you have, oh, enlightenment. Yeah, I want to become enlightenment for the sake of all mother sentient beings. This is the practice of the bodhisattvas, we call it. Yeah, bodhicitta, developing bodhicitta. Now this goal of wanting to liberate all sentient beings and achieve enlightenment, in order to be able to do that, that is a goal. And that goal defines what kind of practice you do, right? So the reason why I mentioned whether you're a practitioner, whether in the Dharma context, whether you're a practitioner, whether you're not practitioner, some people not interested in becoming enlightened. Yeah, even in the Dharma itself, you have Nyingte and Rakya, self-liberation, liberating, wanting to self-liberate beings, right? We have the what do we say, the Mahayana path and the what do we say, Theravadan path. Yeah, within the class, within what do you say, the scopes also, there's different scopes. Yeah, some people only want a good life in this life. They don't want to care about next life. They don't care about next life. They don't even, maybe they don't, some people don't even what do we say, acknowledge that there's an existence after death. So there also this practice of the six bardos, you can utilize that as well. So this utilization is not just for people who want to become enlightened and who want to, it can be utilized by anyone, right? And this is what I was trying to convey. So if you are someone who not interested in next life, who doesn't even acknowledge the existence of next life, then it's this life. You focus on this life. You can utilize these different states within this life, the different states of the bardo within this life, to understand, to build awareness in the concept of reality. And reality has nothing to do with dharma, right? Reality is reality, right? If I throw a stone to a glass window, and then reality is that it shatters. Doesn't matter whether I'm a dharma practitioner or whether I'm not a dharma practitioner. I don't say, oh, if I'm a dharma practitioner and I throw, then the window will shatter. If I'm not a dharma practitioner, I throw, it won't shatter. It's not that, right? So reality is reality. Yeah, we can. And then another thing that this teaching does bring up a lot is death. Death is again reality, right? Not saying that, oh, if you're a practitioner, death won't come, and if you're not a practitioner, death will come. It's not that as well. So so the practice defines a lot on the person who's practicing, yeah. And then some people, so this is one state of practice, who only want to focus on this life, who wants a happy life, good family, joyful life, like His Holiness says, no, if you cannot build the intention of wanting to liberate, then build the intention of wanting to help. If you don't want to build the intention of wanting to help, then at least build the intention of not wanting to harm. Yeah, so there's just different levels there as well, right? At least not harm. So this life, then at least not harm, right? So something like that. So this, I mean, like I said, everyone is a practitioner in some way, but from the Dharma sense, then if you're focusing on this life only, then whether it's whether it's a Dharma practice or not, that is a little bit can be can be debated a little bit on. So that is one part. Now the second part is, maybe you believe in next life and you not focus on taking the, what we say, the weight of wanting to liberate all sentient beings. You just want to have a good life next life. Yeah, some people actually just have the aim for that. They just want a good life next life. So I think a lot of practitioners in the Himalaya region said nowadays this concept has sort of like flourished a little bit. So they do money or money payment, they do circumambulation, they do all of this. Then you say, oh, why are you doing money and why are you circumambulating? Oh, so that I can have a good life in next life. So their goal is not enlightenment. Their goal is not that. They just want a good, good life next life. So goals, like I said, goals change, and based on goal, practice changes as well. So the application of the practice is different in every goal, right? If your aim is just this life, then maybe developing what do we say, the perfections is good enough to have a stable, whether it be a stable, mentally stable, physically stable, conditionally stable life in this life is good enough, maybe. Then also, if you're focusing on next life, then also maybe then it's focusing more on what do we say, creating the conditions, the right conditions for next life, and that's good enough, right, for them. And then if it's enlightenment and all of that, then like I said, then there's much more work to be done than just praying and conditioning for next life and this life. Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Rinpoche.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, Rinpoche. It's Jill from Australia.
Yes.
Hi, how are you? I was just wondering if the teachings are going for 6 weeks, is there a text that you could, an English translation text that you could recommend to go along with these teachings?
So, I think Venerable Thundup has created something, right, Venerable? So that it can be
There's sort of
followed a little
there's
bit.
sort of like a practice, but there's not like a historical, traditional Tibetan text that I've
Okay.
for this.
So, yes, Venerable.
So if we can certainly share if there is such a thing. I'm not smart enough to know what it is.
So, like I said, these are the main text itself is a Terdu, I think we can, and then the hard part is because it's all separated, taught in separate texts. Yeah, Bardo is focused on the state of death and state of what we say Bardo after intermediate state itself. And then we have Ngunje. Ngunje is focused on the state of birth, the Bardo state of birth. So it's defined in a few different texts, but I think I'm not exactly sure which exact terde it is consistent of all 6 different bardos. But
Yeah.
I can do that, and I can let Venerable Dundub know, and maybe we can try to bring something out. But then I can share with you, maybe if I can find, then I'll share with you a compilation of those things. I don't think, maybe in the Tibetan there is, in the Tibetan Dzogchen Pargema, so in that Dzogchen practice there is that, but I'm not exactly sure if it's translated into English or not,
Yeah,
or whether
that's
there is a translation or not.
yeah.
That one I'll have to figure out, but I will do a little bit of research, and maybe before next week I will contact Venerable Dundup, and I will try to provide whatever I can find in regards to
Thank
it,
you,
and then
Rinpoche.
maybe he can share with everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, Venerable
Okay.
Dundrup.
Okay, I think time up. Yeah. So I think mainly the focus, like I said, based on your goal, based on your practice, then the focus changes. But like I mentioned at the beginning, His Holiness's advice, yeah, what you dedicate matters, because if you want to create the conditions, then you want to make, if you're making a prayer, if you're making a dedication, if you know, whatever it is, the longer it lasts, the better, right? So therefore, if you dedicate for enlightenment, then until enlightenment, it has to do its work. It has to, keep producing something, right? So dedication always in that sense. And then within our own state of understanding, we dedicate our merit to development of the understanding, so that we can achieve, right? So normally I always say sem chus chulam de lam la bhaje mewa. So this is an important aspect of practice. I think that our mind goes towards the dharma, or the explanation of the path, or the explanation of the means to liberation. Then sem chus chulam de do, then the explanation and the means and the method that goes into our practice or our path, right? So application in our path. Then lambda bhaje mewa. Then on that path that we are going forward in achieving whatever we want to achieve, then it's important that there's no obstacles on those paths. So the third lambda bhaje mewa, bhaje is obstacle, so that there's no obstacles on that path. Yeah, and then through that, chanjo semjo rinpoche, maje panam kyuji, kyawanya bame baya kone gondo pewa, sho tonye tawa rinpoche. Kyawanya bame baya kone gondo pewa, sho tipke tsure keme tsune namada nane losame pe tsure ke tsune paruche. Then development of the 3 principal aspects of the path, and then whatever already developed, because conditioning, sometimes they also, what do we say, degrade, so that there's no degrading in our practice. There's always just developing and not degrading. Yeah, then that development of that practice lead to our own liberation, and our own, through that liberation, then achieve immense ability to liberate all mother sentient beings from the cyclic existence of samsara. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, I see you next week, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoying. Yeah, and then in practice, always enjoy. Okay.